is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Business owners can count on McCausland Lock and Alarm to secure and control access to their facilities. Enjoy peace of mind while their access control and CCTV systems provide top-of-the-line protection for your assets. Tom McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save a buck or two. The bad.
Kevin, there's no hot water.
So you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating. Call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. He's been helping folks prepare for retirement for over 30 years. That's why he's able to correct your do-it-yourself problems before they're problems. Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Joe Yakovich at 856-925-6674 or visit jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Don Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
In Philadelphia, the headlines are dominated by many of the violent crimes across the city this week. The follow-ups. A missing woman, her body discovered inside her home, wrapped in plastic. Her husband now in custody. That is a huge story making headlines. And as well, some of those suspects who police have been searching for all week, including the guys accused of running over 3 nurses outside a busy emergency department and then running over not only the nurses, but the friend who they allegedly were trying to help, who was a shooting victim. We saw the nurse in critical condition this morning. As we think about the violent crime and dealing with that in Philadelphia, let's zoom out and look at what is beyond. Making headlines this morning, of course, is a known terrorist, if you will, of the architect, or the believed architect of the October 7th terrorist attack that murdered innocent civilians and Jews, and to this day holds many hostage, including 4 Americans. We don't say that enough, that these people, believe, hopefully they're still alive, about 100 people being held hostage, among them Americans. And so will this be a turning point in the so-called Gaza war, which began with a terror attack on innocent Jews October 7th, more than 1 year ago at this point? Could be a turning point. I know many of us are hopeful for that. But I want to begin with what's going on politically because we are truly in the center stage nationally. Pennsylvania, right here, we have former President Trump is expected back in Philadelphia somewhere at a McDonald's. I was looking up all the McDonald's. Which McDonald's do you think Trump will visit?
Me and Dom are trying to figure this one out because you have the one down in Grays Ferry. You have the one that's right there in South Philly off of 95.
I have to say Dom and I.
What did I say, Dom and me?
Yeah, me and Dom.
Oh, come on.
It's a Nick Cale thing. We have to do the grammar.
No,
come on, man.
Start. Come on.
You know.
The grammar police is going to start with... you got one on Girard, maybe? Up there in, Fishtown, Port Richmond area?
Or in the Northeast?
You got the Northeast, yeah. I don't know. Where do you think?
855-839-1210.
You got one on Aramingo?
Which McDonald's? And I find it funny that he'll be in Lancaster later on Sunday evening at a big rally. But I think it's funny that he's going to be they're saying the campaign did come out and announce this, that Trump will be in Philadelphia, or will it be the Philadelphia area? Could it be one that's like right over the border? Would it be Flourtown?
I think he loses a lot of.
Flourtown, Pennsylvania. See, I think he's got to be in the city.
I agree.
So I'm going to predict it'll be either South Philadelphia or the Northeast. Somewhere in the Northeast. A lot of support, a lot of love for Trump in the Northeast. I'm just saying.
I think logistically, the one right off the highway there is probably the
smartest. Yeah, then they got safety. Then they head to Lancaster. So you can let us know what you think. 855-839-1210.
I wonder if I'll make the drive-through times any shorter rather than sitting for 35 minutes at any city McDonald's drive-through. Sorry, don't mean to rant about that.
That'd be awesome. So Trump is here, and it's on the same day Vice President Kamala Harris's 60th birthday. So I don't know. I don't see where she'll be as far as on Sunday on her actual birthday. But so he'll be, giving her busting her chops. Because obviously the insinuation is that without even saying anything, which McDonald's did she work at when she says she had a Mickey D's job back in the day? We're still not sure which McDonald's she allegedly had a part-time job at. So we're having fun with that one. By the way, I know that earlier today we had the word of the judge in former President Trump's federal election interference case ordering more documents. So this was a busy night for U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan. Man, she was busy, wasn't she? She was issuing more orders into the night last night. She wants additional documents made public. This whole thing's going to get thrown out. That's what's going to happen. And this is, in my humble opinion, maybe you disagree with me. I doubt it, but 855-839-1210. But this will be thrown out. This is just desperation, in my humble opinion. This is the case of one special counsel, Jack Smith, started his probe 3.5+ years after the alleged, thing that he has trouble with, because he's saying that, well, this was election interference. Well, why didn't DOJ or Jack Smith do anything in February or March or April of 2020? I mean, why wait? Why wait 3.5 years? That's the question here, really. If you think that it's really a genuine prosecution, why wait more than 3.5 years, actually, when you think a crime was committed? Because they know this is all going to get overthrown. That's what it is. And it's just allowing the narrative that, in fact, Trump is a criminal. And I truly feel this, that the reason Jack Smith and DOJ and even Judge Chutkan, the reason that they're ramping up this entire case of Jack Smith is because they know the writing is on the wall in New York City, as I've been talking about, the big quote-unquote October surprise. I'm predicting October 25th, Friday, October 25th, when we're all at the special, celebration of all of us going live and local here at the special live broadcast, which I hope you got tickets to. But I believe that that's the day that we are going to see that entire Trump, the case against Trump, the persecution, accusing not just Donald J. Trump, but as well his sons, his business partners in that case in New York. I believe that the 5-panel New York judges are going to throw it out. And that's in your face, Tish James. That case, poof, goes away. I think that's part of the reason you're seeing Judge Chutkan. And in this Jack Smith case, that's why they're ramping this up in the headlines 1 week ahead of that in anticipation of it. That's just my little prediction. All right. Happier days. Let's get on to, we have so much to talk about, but can we do a little Elon Musk?
Yeah.
This is huge. I mean, the crowd was so excited. Ridley High School. And it's really about getting out the vote. And I saw the headlines this morning. Controversial. What in the world is controversial about getting out the vote? All Elon Musk did yesterday was hold a campaign event and talk about the Constitution, our country, getting out the vote. And what I see here is he's targeting people who I think he holds the respect for, the first-time voters, the younger voters, and the voters who have lost hope, lost the faith in our country and our institutions, lost faith in the validity and the truth of elections. They were thrilled yesterday to see this is the wealthiest guy in the world. Think about that. This guy's a billionaire so many times over. And what I thought of was, you know, the saying that if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And I think for the wealthiest guy in the world, what I feel with Elon Musk is that he realizes that if you don't have freedom, you have nothing. And here's the wealthiest man, because a lot of people think, well, I'm rich. Man, I'm going to outlast anything. This doesn't affect me. But he realizes the price of freedom. And that's why
it's basic stuff, really, you know. These shouldn't be controversial topics. It's just like normal. Common sense, exactly. And you know, you're seeing all these attacks on freedom of speech, and they're like attacking me for freedom. It's like, yo, that's the First Amendment, like literally the first one. You know, tells me it's a high priority.
I know he's a genius, basically, but it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. He says it so simply. By the way, they made him an honorary, because I guess their mascot is it the Raiders, so they made him an honorary Radar. They were so excited at Ridley High School.
Delaware County, and welcome to Ridley School District and our beautiful high school.
Yeah.
Because you made this your first stop, we'd love to make honorary Ridley Raider.
Thank you.
Use a shirt, football jersey. Sports is big in Ridley, big in Delaware County.
Go.
This is must. 67 counties in Pennsylvania. We got to turn every one of them red.
Great.
And the funny thing with him as well, I don't hear him saying, I am a Republican, I am a conservative. That's not what he's saying. He's not talking, he doesn't speak as a regular partisan politician. He's talking about much bigger issues. Who does he attract here? And so there were so many great people. I'm up against tough times. So, Dan, I know that you polled. There are people who are losing hope. And that's a big part of it. He wants to restore their faith.
Here 20 years, I came here legally. I see a lot of immigration and a lot of immigrants who came here legally. We all support Trump, and they want a strong economy. They want, family values and all that. And oh, by the way, I came here because my daughter goes to school here. She told me to come over. I used to be really, really active in promoting, Trump campaign 4 years ago, and I got burned out, and I'm so frustrated, and it's all because of the cheating. So, what are we going to do with that?
Well, there is, I think, some amount of cheating that takes place. It's hard because they've, when you have mail-in ballots and no sort of proof of citizenship, it becomes almost impossible to prove cheating is the issue. So a lot of people in the Dems say, and I'm like, you've made it impossible to actually prove that there's cheating. But statistically, there are some very strange things that happen that are statistically incredibly unlikely. So, there's always this sort of question of, like, say, the Dominion voting machines. It is weird that I think they're used in Philadelphia and in Maricopa County, but not in a lot of other places. Doesn't that seem like a heck of a coincidence? So I think that is,
Now, I will tell you this, that Dominion came out quickly and said they are not used in Philadelphia. So they did say that, and I just want to clarify that. But overall, I will say this, that he was trying to respect people's feelings of feeling like something was irregular, and he talks about statistically that there were some irregularities. I'll remind you that it was, Republicans in Harrisburg, our lawmakers here in PA, allowed some of the rules to be loosened because it was the pandemic, and the spirit of the moment was, let's make sure everybody can vote despite the pandemic and a lot of fear, all of that. So in the spirit of what he was saying, I think he was saying, look, I respect your, spidey senses that you feel that it was irregular and that something went wrong. But overall, what he was saying was, go back to JFK, all the theories about, there's some cheating going on. Overall, what he was saying was, please vote and please keep the faith and please get out there and do this. It's the theme of Swamp the Vote, that if so many people come out and so many people vote, and I want you to think about this, and it's something my mom used to say, something I say to my kids when they say, well, that ref or that judge, they didn't, and I often say, well, if you perform so incredibly, it doesn't matter. So just get out there and win big, right? We do that in sports. And so, you say, well, the refs were this and that. Well, if you scored so many touchdowns or you were so incredible and so disciplined and so great, then you wouldn't be talking about the refs. That sort of spirit, that's what I viewed Elon Musk as talking about. I know that locally, if you look at some of the national headlines, they're taking issue with the fact that he respected and recognized people's feelings about this. And that was not the spirit. I believe me, I went through the whole thing twice. That was not the spirit within which he was coming from. He genuinely was saying, keep hope alive here. Please register to vote by Monday. That's the deadline. And let's just swamp the vote. You can disagree with me if you like, if you saw something else in there, but 855-839-1210. And remember, he's a math guy. He's a genius, right? And so he's saying statistically, I'll give it to you, wasn't here, but there were some seemingly funny things that we can't explain, but swamp this vote, register to vote, too big to win. That's what I garnered from that. Dan, there were some other moments, and I know we have to get to Linda Kearns, which really brings us to her take on what she felt about Elon Musk and perhaps what I'm describing here. So we do have to take a break. We'll have Linda on the other side, who is, a great election integrity attorney, right? And so we've heard all these stories about people being intimidated as well, and trying to make sure that the law is protecting voters, citizens who just want to put a Trump sign or maybe a McCormick sign out front of their yard, and they've been harassed. That's not right. We'll get into all of that, so much more. Be right back.
Gather your family and friends for the Buddy Walk and Family Fun Day on Sunday, October 20th at Lincoln Financial Field. Let's celebrate individuals with Down syndrome and have a fun morning. Proceeds benefit CHOP's Trisomy 21 program and the National Down Syndrome Society. Learn more at buddywalk.chop.edu.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Do you have water on your property giving you a headache, soggy yards, damp patio, pool area getting swampy? Visit GardenStateEarthworks.com, your drainage solution, 856-848-4444.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
The 2024 presidential election is here. With the race neck and neck and with so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground, and we're breaking down the numbers until every last vote is counted, providing you with insight on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, and listen to MSNBC Live on the free Odyssey app or wherever you watch MSNBC.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Just a reminder, when we think about voting machines, voting elections in Pennsylvania, so following the 2016 presidential election, remember this, that it was Green Party candidate Jill Stein was among others that had said that our older, antiquated machines, voting machines, were susceptible to hacking. It was actually, I believe it was Jill Stein, as I recall. But I do remember that all new counties were told they had to purchase brand new machines with voter verifiable paper ballots. And that was one thing that happened. And as we move toward the conversation about election integrity, I'm a little conflicted sometimes to even bring this up, because on one hand, of course, I want to report all the facts to you and everything that I can as far as what's going on. On the other hand, I do believe that everybody should absolutely go out and vote and make sure that you register to vote by Monday, because you can ask my kids. I have this philosophy whenever they say, complain about something with sports, and I say, you know what? If you are the greatest at what you do, if your team is the greatest and your victory is so big, so huge that nothing could knock it off kilter, even if you think the refs were bad and, I'm that mom, ooh, dirty refs, I admit I've done that before. But the truth is, if a victory is so big and so resounding, then nobody can take that victory away from you. And that's the spirit within which I speak this morning. And I always, I always want to keep hope alive. Somebody else who wants to keep hope alive, our friend Linda Kearns, who's an attorney, somebody who, as you know, somebody who truly believes in election integrity. And Linda, I just want to say good morning and want to ask you first and foremost about all the calls that we've been getting, letters we've seen that were sent to different individuals where they said they were threatened. Where does that stand, Linda, as far as people feeling like they're being intimidated and threatened, even for putting a lawn sign on their yard or in front of their business?
Good morning, Dawn. And I want to just clarify something. You always talk about the Republican National Committee website, protectthevote.com, but you say it's Linda Kearns' website, but it is the Republican National Committee's website. It is President Trump's website.
Sorry.
Yeah, you kind of give me like a little bit of a promotion there. I'm an attorney. I represent the Republican National Committee. I am proud to represent President Donald J. Trump in this election, but it is we have a team. It is our website. So it's certainly not the Linda Kearns website, but it is so important for your listeners to go to protectthevote.com. You can sign up to help, but you can also report any type of integrity issue there. You can see there's a button you can push to report that kind of stuff. And that's what we want with this terrible, terrible voter intimidation that's going on. There is no place for it. We have a First Amendment, which means that you can speak freely, you can debate, but you cannot threaten people. And what is happening is absolutely wrong. So what we're telling people is, first of all, preserve the evidence. If you receive one of these letters, immediately put it in a Ziploc bag, because if there is any evidence on it, any fingerprints, we want that preserved. Contact your local authorities. Contact the local police. Get a police report for us. Like, do what you would normally do if you're the victim of a crime. Report it to your county board of elections. Report it to your district attorney. The Department of State has a phone line, 1-877 votes PAVOTESPA. If you received it through the mail, you contact your postal inspector. And please report it to us, because we have a team now who is working on this, because this should not be happening. And we're going to work with federal and state authorities to make sure that this is investigated and whoever did this is brought to justice, because this is absolutely has no place in these elections.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear it, but I'm glad that we, throughout the day yesterday, started on Kale & Company, and then throughout the day, people were calling in, letting us know what was happening, and that kind of, whether it was somebody stealing a sign or intimidation, voicemails, all of that. And I certainly hate to hear that, but I think it's good to let people know you're not alone, that this is a thing and there's something you can do about it. And that's so important.
Right. Absolutely. And the Republican National Committee, we are behind our voters and we want to help them. And that's why we ask that after you go through the channels and report it to local law enforcement, you let us know, because we're collecting all this information so that we can absolutely stay on top of it. So your show and the show this morning, it just helps so much to get information out to voters, and we couldn't be more appreciative.
Yeah. What do you make of, Elon Musk in Delco at the Ridley High School there, and taking questions? I mean, and he took questions on, there were a ton of techie-minded people and cryptocurrency people, so he attracts kind of an eclectic group of individuals who are fans of his, maybe from the tech side. But on the other hand, there were some of those people who have lost hope. And maybe until they met him, maybe they didn't want to vote because they feel that they've lost faith that the elections, have truth and transparency and integrity. What do you make of all of that, as far as people who just won't come out to vote because they've lost faith?
Right, and that's something I never like to hear. But what I can tell voters is that as the attorney for the Republican National Committee here in Pennsylvania, I have never been given the team or the resources that I've been given for this election cycle. Chairman Whatley came and met with me in February, I think, of this year, and we sat down and we talked about what was needed to make elections in Pennsylvania fair and safe. And I have a great team behind me. I have recruited many, 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 many lawyers. I am scheduling them all now so that they will be at the mail ballot canvases, watching the mail ballot canvass, to make sure that those votes are counted correctly. I train these lawyers. You actually helped me. You came on a training and gave a little bit of a pep talk. We have recruited poll watchers to be our eyes and ears in the polling place for polling places all across the Commonwealth. I have an attorney whose only job is Philadelphia, and he is recruiting poll watchers for us in Philadelphia to make sure that we have a presence in all 1,703 polling places. So we are out there. We are out there protecting the vote, but we need the voters to vote. And like you said, on Monday, that's the last day to register. So anyone who hasn't registered yet, they should go to swampthevote.com. Also, swampthevoteusa.com. It will take you right to the portal where you can register to vote. And then once you're registered, you can make a plan to vote. You can request a mail ballot. However, we're running out of time because you have to make that request by October 29th. So, you want to get that done right away. And if you don't, then make a plan to go to your polling place on Election Day.
A while back when everybody was expecting their mail-in ballot, and there was this back and forth with a Montgomery County official who took it upon himself to do like a selfie video and say, it's all about me. I'm the first in Pennsylvania to cast my vote. I know that the Republican National Committee attorneys got involved and said we want to make sure that this was a transparent policy and that all the rules were followed. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed. And so what's the result of that? Because I see a lot of headlines right now that the lawsuit was withdrawn in the way that it's written. And you know me, Linda, from a journalism school background, right? That's my career. I'm always critical of the way things are reported. But what's the bottom line as far as Montgomery County goes?
Right. So the counties cannot begin to test their ballots until the secretary certifies the ballot. So we do not know who's going to be on the ballot until the secretary certifies the ballot. And the secretary of the state of Pennsylvania did not certify the ballot until September 16th on Monday. Tuesday morning, that commissioner was posting selfies that he already voted. And we immediately reached out and said, how could he have voted so soon? How could you have had time to test that ballot between September 16th in the afternoon and the Tuesday morning, September 17th? And when they did not answer us, we sued. And what we found out as a result of that litigation was that they actually tested what they thought was going to be the ballot 6 days ahead of time. They tested it on September 10th. So instead of waiting for the secretary to tell them what was going to be on the ballot, they just tried to guess, and that's the one that they tested. But they, as a result of our suit, we believe, they held back because he had also tweeted out that they were going to send out 100,000 mail ballots, but they held off until they did their more thorough testing on Monday, September 23rd. So what we found out in that lawsuit was they indeed did not test those ballots before he voted on them Tuesday morning. What they had done was test a ballot that they guessed would be the configuration. And Dawn, they may have landed the plane this time because eventually when they did do the full testing on September 23rd, they passed. Maybe they did land the plane this time, but that is not how we administer elections in Pennsylvania. You don't just guess. You don't just do things ahead of time. You do things when you're supposed to do them. And by holding him accountable, we're showing our voters that we are watching every single step of the way, and we're holding these officials accountable. So that lawsuit that was the point of the lawsuit, to find out about the testing. So once we knew that, we withdrew it because we are not interested in slowing down the process. We are not interested in interfering. We are not interested in the counties using resources, for litigation with us when they should be counting the votes. But that lawsuit did exactly what we wanted, which was we got them to admit in a stipulation that they tested basically a test ballot rather than the real ballot. And that should never, ever, ever happen.
And so this, to me, zooming way out, Linda Kearns, to me, it's a victory. Because for any voter, no matter how they're going to vote, they can look at this process and say, hey, you have watchdogs. You have people who are questioning everything, that it's legal and that there is transparency. That's what happened here. And isn't that a good thing? It's a win-win for everybody because it's all about election integrity and making sure that everybody's feet are held to the fire, basically.
Absolutely, and that's why I spend so much time on your shows, on your station, and the RNC has me booked on all sorts of other media. I want voters to understand what we're doing. I don't want to be quiet about it. And it's not just me. It's not about Linda Kearns. It's about the Republican National Committee. Obviously, that commissioner, Neil Mahija, I think his name is, it's all about him. He wanted to send out a selfie. Well, it's not all about me. It's about the Republican National Committee, and I want everyone to know about the team that we have in place that is working literally day and night. We're keeping Dawn Stensland hours now. I don't know how you do it. But we are working for the voters. And I think I've said before on your show that people have died for our right to vote. Like, we have the best country in the world. I am so proud to live here. I am so thankful that God chose when I was born that I would be born in this country. And I am so interested in preserving our liberty. And the way that we do that is we vote. And we're getting down to the wire. If you are not registered, you have to do so by Monday. And if you request a mail ballot, you have to do so by October 29th. So we're really getting down to the wire. And, convincing your friends and family to vote, it actually works if you can be nice about it. I have two nephews in college. they sent out, they confirmed that they sent their mail ballots back. And then my one nephew who's down in college in Florida, he got his 2 friends to send their mail ballots back to Pennsylvania. And then I have 2 nieces in college, and one responded, she did it, and one hasn't. So I'm just going to keep haunting her until she does. But every vote counts. So if you know people you can talk to about voting, just make sure they vote. If you have elderly people in your family that need help, getting to the polls or whatever, you help them. You reach out, because we need every vote. And I think that's what Elon Musk, that's his message too. Yes. We need every vote.
ProtectTheVote.com. I know that you still could use some volunteers, some observers.
Absolutely. If you go to ProtectTheVote.com and sign up, we can place you in a polling place as an observer, and we can also place you at the mail ballot canvases to watch that process. Yeah, we absolutely need people. That's what these operations are all about, the ground game, as many volunteers as we can get. So please, if you can help us on Election Day, please just go to ProtectTheVote.com and sign up. We'll train you. We have webinars. Every so often we have a guest star like Don Stensland or Rich Cioli. So, we really are reaching out to all the voters. And what we find too, Don, is when the voters go through our training, constantly they say to me, wow, I wish, I didn't know that's how it worked. I'm so glad you explained it. So we're also giving the voters the knowledge of how the process works. And I hope we're giving them faith that their vote does count, and we need every vote. I hope it's not a close election. My life will be a lot easier if this is just a blowout, but I don't know, and we need every single vote. And it's 18 days out. You don't know what's going to happen between now and Election Day. So we just need everybody.
Well, Linda Kearns, I hope we continue the conversation. I know people have a lot of questions, so I hope that we continue the conversation, my friend. Thank you, Linda Kearns.
Absolutely. Thank you, Don.
ProtectTheVote.com. And yes, maybe it's a compilation. I'll just declare Linda the goddess of the website, since, just goddess of all things.
Goddess to protect the vote.
Yes, the protector of the vote. All right. So speaking of protectors and thinking about home and what a great weekend we have ahead. I know I have some family coming over. We got football tomorrow, 1:00 in the afternoon. It's just going to be a wonderful weekend. You've heard me talk about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding for years now. I think the world of the Chapman family team. They do beautiful work. Maybe you're thinking of updating your front entry door. That gives you that immediate pop. It's like an instant makeover. Right now is the perfect time. For the month of October, Chapman is giving out the chance to receive $1,000 credit toward that brand new front door. You simply have to send them a photo of your current front door. Everybody, by the way, who sends in a photo, you get $500 credit toward a new door. But one lucky person with a door perhaps most in need for a lot of TLC is going to receive a $1,000 credit toward that new front door.
Can I register?
Sure. I think so. I can't. Because, they've already done my stuff. But you amazing need a new front.
I might be calling Chapman soon. I need a new storm door, yeah.
Storm door, they do it all. They always say no project is too big or too small. And that's what I love about the Chapman family team. So here's the thing. You want to go to their website. You can take a virtual tour, get some ideas, by the way. I love the before and the after photos. But you can get a good sense of their work. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. You can also call or text. So they're local, they're like-minded, 610-431-8898. And just think about this as well, because maybe it's intimidating to you. They have experienced project consultants. They're going to work with you and walk you through the process. And by the way, there are no surprises. I can vouch for this. Everything is in writing. Everything is up front. You sign off on everything, so it is exactly what you expected, what you dreamed of. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa classic hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
When you
need to know. Depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
City officials show planned changes to make biking safer on Spruce and Pine. 30th Street Station looking for an artist to memorialize late Congressman Bill Gray. And the Flyers lose 6-4 in Seattle after a disastrous second period. They'll go into tomorrow's home opener with 3 points and 3 straight losses.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to talk about my friend, dentist, and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. With the cooler weather, it's a great time to stop procrastinating. Take care of your dental health. Plus, now's the best time to see a prosthodontist, especially to help with complications as we get older and help prevent major problems. Get the smile you really want. Take control of your oral health. Call the Bentz Dental Group, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins? They won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-200-1966, 800-200-1966, or biglou.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
I saw a teleprompter. They said they've never had a teleprompter in the history of this dinner. I told that to the Cardinal, right? And then a teleprompter pops up for, he must be a very important comedian to get that. They give you one, but not me. How about that one? Huh? Come here. Yeah, and you did a good job. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. There's nothing to say. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time and they shoot.
Ouch. Self-deprecating, great night, funny, but noticeably, President Biden was not there. You know, he still is the president. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that, but President Joe Biden, not there. And of course, the tradition is that the contenders for the big job would join. So I know that the Cardinal had expressed disappointment that Vice President Kamala Harris would not be in attendance. She did release that video with, Mary Catherine from, SNL, whatever. It was a bizarre skit. It was really bizarre. But, your take on that, I just thought, to me, my overall take, and Dan has a compilation of all the jokes. I thought they were pretty funny. But my take on this was they all acted like Trump they act like he already won. That was my take. They're treating him like he's already the man. I was surprised, like Chuck Schumer didn't lean over and just kiss the ring. You know what I mean? I know we'll get to that joke.
We'll start with that one. How about that?
Okay.
Here's the Chuck Schumer guy.
Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
It's a sin. God, that was funny. And he was on Fox with Fox and Friends a long time. It seemed like it was an hour every time I looked up to the monitor. He just sat on the couch, on the curved couch with them, and was taking questions from callers and talking about last night, talking about the campaign. He is so relaxed and so comfortable. And, there's nothing scripted with him. I mean, it's off the cuff. He did say, I guess, some of the writers, even though they're not allowed to have prompter, but you can have cue cards or bring some jokes with you. So I guess some of the writers from Fox, or I bet you it was Greg Gutfeld.
No.
No?
No, it's
Jimmy
too
Fallon?
funny for Greg Gutfeld. Yeah, it's got to be Fallon.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, Gutfeld is a writer, though. I wonder if he can, you know what I mean? He's one of those people, if he's writing for somebody else, it's funnier than...
Yeah, is that what it is?
You think? I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe.
But definitely...
There's just so many times I watch Gutfeld at night, and it's like crickets.
But I will say this: I could see from some of those jokes, definitely Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, particularly this guy.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz.
That was just, even Greg Stocker, who's a tough critic this morning, he was, he said he was laughing out loud.
He really didn't hold any punches. It was,
Yeah.
it's wild, that the things that he was talking about there. And here's another one, not holding any punches in front of this audience.
But I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas.
Ouch. Ouch.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, and really not holding any punches when it comes to this white dudes for Harris.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
Ooh, ouch. So what did you think? I thought it was hysterical. And, again, there are Democrats in the room, Republicans in the room. By the way, one of my upcoming guests, Monica Crowley, former Assistant Secretary of the Treasury under Trump, she was there. I tweeted out wow, she looked gorgeous. I tweeted out what she wore, her beautiful gown before she was leaving. So we'll get some insights from Monica as far as she was right there and being in the room and her take on it. But for me, I felt like everybody there was relaxed. I did not even feel the tension that you might feel if this really was a close election. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too biased as far as what I hope and think is going to happen. But I just think that they all knew in the room, that they all feel like, yeah, he's got this locked in. So they're accepting it. That was my take. 855.
This race is childcare, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband Doug anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away.
Ouch. Oof. Oofta. See, and that's the reason number 205 that she didn't want to be there, because she knows Dougie. She knows a lot of things are going to, come into play and didn't want to deal with it. But it also shows you as well that Trump is somebody who has a thick skin. I mean, my goodness, that there was a joke in there, obviously, about the attempt on his life here in Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania, July 13th. I mean, so he's somebody who has a thick skin, and I don't know, he was very comfortable, and everybody laughed. That's all I'm saying. So we'll moving forward, we'll talk to Monica Crowley, obviously. We have a lot more for you. And then Neil Young, by the way, at 11:30. Great guy.
Neil Young?
Neil Young.
The singer?
Maybe. I don't know if this Neil
tune
sings.
in.
We'll have to get him to sing a little bit.
Yeah, you think he does?
But I want to get your thoughts, 855-839-1210. If you share my take that, in fact, you think that in that room last night at the Al Smith dinner, which is a charity dinner, it's all for a good cause, do they see the writing on the wall? 855-839-1210. Or do you think this thing is still up for grabs? So we'll take you there. Speaking of taking you places, my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands, and these are beautiful, powerful brands: Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. And these models, they have the sleek new designs, innovative features, powered by the latest in technology, and thousands of new as well as certified pre-owned vehicles available right now across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When an injured worker left me a message that said, "You probably won't call me back, I'm just a nobody," I called him right back. Nobody's a nobody, and no one deserves a better firm than you.
When Morgan said, "Nobody is a nobody," I felt like that. And they took care of me, and now we're doing okay. Thank God that I went to Morgan & Morgan.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The following is a paid commercial message. It's happening here in Pennsylvania. Sanctuary cities are releasing violent illegal immigrants onto our streets with the help of Bob Casey. Casey voted repeatedly to fund these dangerous sanctuary cities. Casey's policy let more illegals, more criminals loose in our neighborhoods, making our families less safe. Worse, instead of deporting criminal illegals, Casey voted to give them amnesty. Casey's amnesty would give illegal immigrants your Social Security and Medicare. That's right, Casey would give your benefits to illegals, but he'd also make you pay more. Casey voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits. Seniors can't afford higher taxes? Bob Casey, taxing you to pay illegals. It's just another Casey con job. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
So that one of the headlines today in the New York Times that President Joe Biden prepares for a farewell visit to a key ally as he is more on a tour to protect his legacy, if you will. And so the headline is, he's obviously in Germany, but the president's hastily rescheduled trip to Berlin will last less than a day. The New York Times writes the German government trimming back its celebrations accordingly. But in this instance, it shows President Biden's, hope to get to Germany as the end of his term approaches, and showing solidarity, obviously, with somebody who clearly has been a key ally. So that one is, but it's they're quickening up the trip, making some last minute adjustments as he is overseas. So there is President Joe Biden as he's really toward the end of his presidency, if you will, even though technically he's obviously president until the new swearing in happens in January of next year. But it's goodbye for him, I would imagine, if you think about it, to a long career. And he at this point wants to think about his legacy as not just president of the United States, but as somebody who has served in the Senate, certainly as Obama's vice president. And this is part of what we're seeing here for sure. 855-839-1210 is the number to call. We have Monica Crowley. She is up ahead and looking forward to that big interview with her. She was there last night, so some insight and inside information for somebody who worked within the Trump administration. And certainly you know her well, a great, huge podcast that's very popular, and former analyst and author as well. So Monica Crowley, look forward to that interview upcoming. This is The Dawn Show. Thanks for being here this Friday. Be right back.
The economic uncertainty surrounding this year's election is worse than ever before. But crash-proof consumers rest easy. Their retirement future is election-proof.
I'm Rochelle Porto, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Leading up to the election, we're seeing how bad the economy is and how worried people are. I was looking for a way to secure my investments. That's why I joined Crashproof in 2014. There's no fees, no risk, and growth every year. My principal has never gone down. I've always earned every year. Everything I've earned in that year creates a new principal, so I'm never going to lose what I actually put in. I've got the freedom to live out my dreams, and I've got the peace of mind to know that my retirement's going to go the way I want. No matter what happens on November 5th, 2024, I'm safe. I'm with Crashproof Retirement.
Learn how you can election-proof your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
I am a father.
I am a mentor.
I am a wife. I am an artist.
I am a husband.
I am a friend.
I am a sports fan. I am your neighbor.
I am a member of your church.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am a police officer.
Support your local law enforcement officials. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police. Visit partnersinpublicsafety.com.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon, 7 to 10 p.m.
Back when I was a cab driver, trying to make my way in comedy and find some entree into television and radio and everything in between, I was writing articles, mocking sports culture and cancel culture and things like that. And they had booked me an interview on WPHT. They were the very first radio station to ever book me as a guest. We had a lot of laughs. So to be sitting here, 8 or 9 years later as a host in your lineup is obviously a really big deal to me personally.
Jimmy Fallon, now weeknights, 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Medicare is making important changes in 2025. Independence Blue Cross can help. Our Medicare Advantage plans include premiums as low as $0, dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. The deadline to enroll is December 7th. Visit ibxmedicare.com/radio. Independence Blue Cross offers PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Blue Cross PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
There's a chill in the air. You flip on the heat, and nothing. And why does it always happen right after you've finally gotten cozy? For as little as $13 a month, Oliver will keep your home's heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems in check year-round. And guess what? Membership also comes with yearly inspections, exclusive discounts on repairs and replacements, plus priority emergency service.
Call Oliver for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back. That show is bad. Those people are bad.
That is former President Donald J. Trump delivering his monologue, getting big laughs at this really historic, classic Catholic fundraiser. New York City, an important venue and fundraiser that has traditionally featured these light roasts by the two major party nominees in all presidential election years. Obviously, somebody was missing, but here to talk about it is, and I'm so honored to have Monica Crowley here, was once the Assistant Secretary of the Treasury under the Trump administration. You know her well from her famous podcast, as well as a political commentator, Fox News. I could go on and on. Monica, thank you for joining me this morning.
Oh, good morning, Dawn. It's so good to be with you. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. So, Monica, you were there last night, and I would love to hear, first of all, your dress was gorgeous. I retweeted, the outfit you wore. I know you were psyched to be there. But it's so fun if we could just live vicariously through you, Monica, as far as being there with, this great event on the inside. What are your takeaways from last night?
Well, you know, it was a fascinating night to be in the room. I was there last year, and I've been there in previous years, John, where it's been an off-election year with no presidential candidate. So it's always really exciting when you have them in the room. And, of course, Kamala Harris did not show up last night, which was a huge mistake. I think it was a huge strategic mistake on her part and the part of her campaign. And in fact, Jim Gaffigan, the comedian who was the entertainment of the evening, he just skewered her. And he actually talked about the self-inflicted murder of the Democrat Party by not showing up at the most important Catholic event of the year, with the cardinals sitting there and so many Catholic participants and a lot of Jewish participants as well. It's really it's a Catholic-based event, but it's Judeo-Christian in its principles and ethics. So she made a huge mistake by not showing up. And I think the last Democrat who didn't show up was Walter Mondale. Back in the day, Don, and President Trump made a nice crack about that. He said, yeah, we know what happened to him in his presidential race. You know, President Trump was so self-effacing. He was funny. He was loose. The beautiful former First Lady Melania Trump was with him. And, you know, to me, the best joke that President Trump delivered was when he said, you know, I was told at this event, and he's, of course, been there a million times, and he talked about how his father used to bring him when he was a child to this event. But he said, you know, I was told I got to do a lot of self-deprecating jokes. And he said, but why should I when I'm getting hit all the time? Very, very funny, loose. And look, I think President Trump, from a political standpoint, did himself a world of good because the Catholic vote is extremely important in this country, especially in the critical swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona. So I think from a political standpoint, it was a masterstroke on his part. And Kamala, I think she's running behind in this race now anyway, and she did not do herself any favors by not coming.
Yeah, it's interesting, Monica, because there was last week I reported on that. It was an Arizona researcher at Christian University there saying 32 million Christians, including Catholics and churchgoers, are likely to stay home. Maybe they've lost the faith in our election integrity or something of that nature. I mean, does something like this that brings people together, lets people laugh, even like you said, I mean, he's self-deprecating, making jokes about himself, but they're all laughing together. I mean, there's Chuck Schumer right next to him, and he actually, in a gracious way, says, you know, he's actually a good guy. Does that bring people together and, I don't know, in a weird way, give people hope?
Yeah, I think that's a really important point because this country is so divided and everything is so polarized, John, and politics infects everything. You cannot watch an NFL game. You can't go to a movie. You can't turn on a radio station for music without getting some sort of political message. And I think that's really unhealthy for people, for American citizens, and I also think it's really unhealthy for the country. So an event like this, where you bring together both sides of the aisle and give them an opportunity to kind of roast each other in a good-natured kind of way, is a really important thing for the life of the country, especially during an election year when everything is so heightened. It's almost like a release valve for the country. People watching, the people in the room, the candidates themselves. It's like an escape hatch where you can let off a little steam, laugh, and then get back to business. That kind of unifying moment is really critical. And the fact that Kamala Harris did not show up, again, was a huge mistake, but it's also, I think, going to backfire more broadly because people want to see that kind of moment because it's so rare. You know, she did submit a video with, you know, one of Molly Shannon, one of the former players on Saturday Night Live, playing her old Catholic girl kind of act. And I have to tell you, being in the room, it fell flat. It was just not appropriate in any kind of way. So it was a good thing President Trump followed that and then brought the house down.
That was my next question to you, Monica, because I thought it just. I inferred from what I could see that it was like a cringy kind of a thing. And so I just wondered, to be in the room as you were, how it was actually received in real time. So I think that's fascinating. And this is a room of people who are politicos, right? Who are more astute than the average person of maybe the gravity of the situation, that she was not there.
Yeah, I think, and there were some people in the room who are Democrats. This is a bipartisan event. I would say it felt to me like the room was about 70-30 pro-Trump, but there were some Kamala Harris and Democrats in there who, were trying to cheer the video, but it really did fall flat. So again, politically very stupid of her not to come. And look, the reality is that the Democrats have all of Hollywood, right? The Democrats basically run the entertainment industry. There are plenty of comedic writers who could have written her a brilliant speech that would have gotten laughs from across the aisle. I was ready to laugh with her if she showed up, right? But she just couldn't do that. And I will say this, to your point about between 30 and 40 million Christians will not vote in this election, that is also really politically not wise, okay? Because we are facing an existential threat by the forces within, represented by Kamala Harris, but it's bigger than her. It's the system, which is really fundamentally dark and evil, jailing your political opponents. We're on a precipice of real tyranny in this country. And Christians better wake up before it's too late and get out and vote. You're not voting for Pope. You're not voting for Jesus. You're voting for somebody to restore the fundamental Judeo-Christian values of this country, on which it's all based. Individual liberty, free market capitalism, all of these things are under direct assault by these forces within the country. And then you have external threats like China and Iran and Russia that would like to see them destroyed anyway. The only candidate who's going to bring the country back and make it great again is President Trump.
Monica Crawley, in your podcast, you interview, people at the highest levels, obviously, including former President Trump, who, you worked for, as well as, I know, J.D. Vance, and then to Rob Schneider, all these different individuals. But in your career, just talking to people who are everyday working Americans who just want things to be better. For you, for your perspective, having worked in the previous Trump administration, what do you see that's different from then through now? Because we've been through all of this. We've been through the pandemic. We've been through this administration. And then recently, these horrible storms. What do you see as you zoom out, Monica, and you look at voters of today versus even the so-called surprise? You and I weren't surprised with the 2016 election, but a lot of Americans were. But what do you see as a major difference?
Well, in 2016, President Trump came on the scene out of nowhere, right? Here was a guy, the blue-collar billionaire out of New York City, who had never done any of this before. And nobody had seen or heard a candidate like this ever, because all of our presidential candidates came out of the political system in some way. They had been a governor, they had been a senator, they had been engaged in some way. And so for this man who is so charismatic and was a household name anyway, from New York real estate and The Apprentice and all of the other stuff he was doing, to come out and then directly speak to the American people in the most brutally honest terms about the state of our country. Nobody had ever seen or heard that before, Don, right? Yes. So when he first came down the escalator, he was already talking about illegal immigration, a porous border, and he was saying they're sending murderers and rapists, and he got clobbered for that literally on day one. That message has stayed consistent with him, and he has been proven right on that and really everything else. So here's the difference. Back in 2016, voters had to take a huge leap of faith with him because, again, he had never done any political stuff before, and now he's seeking the highest office in the land. So they took a jump off the cliff, Thelma and Louise-like, and they said, well, let's hope he's actually going to be who he says he is, and he's going to deliver on his promises. And then over the next 4 years, he actually did. He delivered for the forgotten men and women by delivering a booming economy, an enforced border, law and order, and world peace, peace through strength. He delivered for the American people. And so this time around, the American people know that he is good for his word. He will stand up and deliver on his promises. And what he has said is, everything I did in the first term, even despite all of these insane headwinds coming from the system, Russia hoax, 2 fake impeachments, being undermined from within, the imperial media attacking him every day, despite all of that, he really delivered a huge success for the American people. And what he is saying now is, you don't have to guess with me. Yeah. You saw it in the first 4 years. I'm going to do the exact same thing in the second term, only on steroids. And I think this time around, people understand that, Dawn, and their eyes are also open to the evils of the system and the left and the media, and they really understand now what is at stake.
Amen, sister. Monica Crowley, thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope we continue the conversation. Monica, thank you.
Always a pleasure, Dawn. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. And you can follow her, obviously, on social media, Monica Crowley podcast as well, huge podcast. And you see, she's great. She's brilliant. She worked for the Treasury Department. You know what I mean? Rich Scioli would envy her math skills. You know what I'm saying here? But on top of it, she's gorgeous. So there's that. 855-839-1210. If you have any comments, we have to take a quick break. Be right back.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The NFL season continues on, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. You can get started with $300 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Looking ahead to Sunday, your Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. The Eagles are favored by 3. I would take the under on this at 43.5, or you can build this same game parlay. Jalen Hurts to score an anytime touchdown. Saquon Barkley on the under for rushing yards. He has gone under 86.5 rushing yards in 10 of his last 14 games. And go Jalen Hurts on the over for passing yards. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this NFL season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, President PA. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
What's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Mary Catherine Gallagher. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
So did you think that was funny? Did you think the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, was, I don't know, poking fun at Catholics or making jokes about Catholics? By the way, I see that my friend Rich Scioli is going to be on with Jimmy Fallon tomorrow night on Fox, the TV show. Obviously, Jimmy Fallon, you just heard his promo. He's here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT weeknights. But I want to hear Scioli and Fallon. Did they write any of the jokes for Trump?
Question.
Right?
Yeah.
You think they did?
You want me to text Rich to see?
I just texted him.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That's how I knew he was on with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because every day.
So did he write the joke?
So he's not telling.
Oh, come on, right?
He's like, must watch.
Yeah, you got to tune in.
Right? He's got to do a tease. I know. Every day I'm like, are you? Because I'll promote him or take it live.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, are you going to be on? Because sometimes I look up and there, because, Dana Perino has like a secret crush
Rich,
on.
give us some meat. Come on.
Yeah. So your thoughts on, was this a good move to have, a former SNL character who plays a Catholic schoolgirl, and maybe, I don't know if, I think my kids, teenagers, they would know who she is because they love all the old bits. But I think, is it so antiquated?
So Henry Mashett, he's a younger guy here, one of the producers on the Dom Show.
Did he know who she was?
No, well, not Mary Catherine, but I was referring to the Soaking Corks skit with Jimmy Fallon, which is a very famous skit from the early 2000s. And Henry goes, oh, that's like my mom's era. We don't watch SNL, talking about his generation. I guess it's like a mom's thing now, is like when you make references to the old skits.
Oh.
I know, they've fallen so far that it becomes so culturally relevant. I mean, when they first started, people were gathering around the TV in their dorm rooms to watch, but now kids are saying it's their mom's kind of humor because there's only nostalgic humor attached to it.
See, it's a mama thing. Maybe that's
sad to hear.
I don't know. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. What does Josie in Bucks County think? Hey, Josie.
I was so offended, Dawn. You would not believe. Molly Shannon's character is completely built around mocking Catholic schoolgirls. And here she is on the biggest stage for Catholics, whenever they hold the Al Smith dinner, and she's making fun of us.
Yeah.
Like, how much more? It was like putting the middle finger up to the entire room.
Yeah. Yeah, like, why would I go to your stupid dinner?
Yeah, exactly. It just was really, it just shows, I mean, let's be honest, Kamala was not getting my vote to start with, but I just hope other Catholics who do lean that way could see through what exactly she thinks of us and our religion.
Are you making tea? Do you hear that, Dawn? It sounds like she's making tea in the background.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Not. Sorry.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Or a whistling in the wind. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Sorry to interrupt there.
Maybe
Great
Josie.
I'm so sorry. I'm in my car.
Oh,
that's funny. Maybe a window slightly open. Dan thought you were making tea.
I didn't think it was. I am sorry about that. But,
you're good.
That's
great
it.
point.
I apologize. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks,
That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Josie. You as well. Have a blessed Friday. But I think I've seen that going viral. People's reactions, what was her speech, how was it received? So you heard Monica Crowley, who was right there in the room, says with the crowd there, they're like, oh, a little cringy. It's not funny. It was kind of stale. And then how are people receiving it in those viral clips? As people put the clips out, even the Harris camp puts out the clips, but people, reacting to that going, was it funny? Or it's a charity event and they've done this for years and years and years. So, and do you think that President Joe Biden should have been there? Now, obviously, I haven't heard much of that because truthfully, it's between the candidates. So now and by the way, if let me tell you something, I mark my words, Joe Biden, and I'm going to give it till about next February. How many times have I said this, Dan? About next February, March-ish, there's going to come a point where somebody talks to Biden and Biden says, I still could have won it. Biden would have been there. President Biden, he would have been there. If he were the contender, he would have been there last night. I'm telling you. And
there's no doubt in my mind.
He would have had writers. He would have been funny. He would have been charming, right? And that's my takeaway from this is that they misplayed this. Sometimes I always say that, the GOP gets played and the Democrats are always trying to be one step ahead. In this case, I think they were trying to be two steps ahead and they're tripping themselves. Mm-hmm. Because I think Biden at the end of the day is going to say, I could have won this. I could have, because people, they know Joe Biden. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is that even people who, voted Biden-Harris think, nah, I don't really know her. It was too new. They had like a month to deal with the whole thing.
What do you think the scene is behind the scenes with Biden and Kamala? Do you think he actually wants to be out there, trying to support and bring a presidency to Kamala, or do you think he's bitter about it? It's like, you know what, I want to see Trump win.
No, I don't think he. No, I think that he probably. I think that he wants Democrats to win, but at the same time, I mean, obviously at his level. I mean, think about it. He's been president of the United States, vice president, senator. He's been the man for a very long time, and you can't help when you're at that level to feel disrespected.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, to feel so betrayed by a party that you feel you've given your life to them and done what they wanted you to do in moments that you didn't want to say certain things, right?
Yep.
And he towed the party line and was a loyal guy, and they threw that man under the bus.
And I mean, it opened up him not being there and him not being the candidate, opened him up for a lot of criticism, even from Jim Gaffigan. You heard Monica mention this. Take a listen.
Yeah, this has been an interesting presidential campaign. The Democrats have been telling us Trump's reelection is a threat to democracy. In fact, they were so concerned of this threat, they staged a coup, ousted their democratically elected incumbent, and installed Kamala Harris. In other words, all her dreams have come true. Really? It really makes you consider the power of prayer, right, Cardinal?
And he brings it back around to the fact, as a reminder, that it's a Catholic event. But I do think, so many times I look at this and I say, this also is a sign of people running the campaign who don't have the wisdom and perspective. And it's part of it as well, I will say, this issue of ageism. So I think that for younger generations, they're so quick to say, well, Joe Biden or the old guy is not relevant, but he's really a silver fox. And I actually don't believe that Joe Biden was as mentally incapable like people said. When I watched the debate on the 27th, I wasn't surprised because I think that, yes, he's an elderly gentleman who, under stress and maybe with lack of sleep, later in the evening, his routine, kind of ruined. Was he off of his game? Absolutely. But I actually think that even the Brett Baer question, when he says to Kamala Harris, well, why didn't you know that he was, out of it or whatever? I actually think that he wasn't. I think that it's seriously a situation where, is he an elderly person? Yes, I do. I think he's an elderly person who acts like an elderly person, but when he gets really stressed out on a national stage like this, when he's on a debate with Trump, who's like the king of debating, do I think that he had missteps? Sure, I do. But I don't believe that it had anything to do with his mental acuity. I have held firm on this. I told you before the June 27th debate, right? I said there's something more with this. And why are they doing a debate? Why are the Democrats pushing for this debate, which Trump said, fine, you want to do it in late June? We've never done this in the history of our nation, right? I mean, in a year and a half or whatever, we celebrate 250 years from the Declaration of Independence. We were having that debate earlier about, how old is America actually. But you think about that. In about 250 years, nobody's ever done this with this early of a debate, right? So think about it. Why did they do that? I think it was by design. It had nothing to do with questions of his mental acuity. It had to do with the fact that they looked at the polls and they said, Biden is in trouble. And so we're going to switch it out and we're going to get somebody younger. And so their idiot, ageist views actually will turn out to be the misstep. That's what lost them the election, not Joe Biden. That's my take. Boom, there it is. Joe Biden, by the way, would love that take. Ha! Say, yeah, I could have won it. He'll be on the beach, right?
He's out there in Delaware listening right now. Oh no, he's in
right?
Germany, right?
Yeah, he's in. Yeah, and obviously history is being made as essentially what they're doing out there is they're trying to shore up the support for Ukraine because guess what? They know for those people who want Ukraine to be NATO, which is never going to happen, obviously, because Russia is never going to be a next door neighbor to NATO. But what Biden also wants to do is secure his legacy.
Get the hell off the beach.
And then, well, maybe he'll be in the islands, and then maybe the beach. I'll have to check in with him next February. I'll try to meet up with him in Delaware.
Hanging with Joe.
Mr. President, I've been saying for
Let's
a
do
long time.
A new series, a weekly
A new
series.
series.
Dawn Hanging with Joe.
Dawn Hanging with Joe. Not for nothing.
It's a new Dawn with Joe.
Not for nothing, but come on. Come on already. Come on, Joe. What am I doing here? What am I talking about?
Kitchen magic.
Kitchen magic. You want a little magic? Magic at the beach? Magic in your kitchen? I spend way too much time in my kitchen, and we got, people coming over. I'll be there all night tonight cooking up some good stuff, but maybe you want to think about a little magic for your kitchen because seriously, I'll say, get out of my kitchen. It's my kitchen. And when it comes to my kitchen, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic, building that reputation for transforming kitchens with such precision and such care. From custom cabinets to the countertops to the backsplashes to the storage solutions, Kitchen Magic gets the job done and fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without all the hassle. Trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades now, Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation, kitchenmagic.com, and let's cook up something extraordinary. kitchenmagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A milder air mass returns to the Delaware Valley for the weekend. Plenty of sunshine today with a high temperature back above average around 70. Still a chilly night tonight, mostly clear, low 48 for the city, colder out in the suburbs, and a warmer day on Saturday. Mostly sunny skies continue with a high 72.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Attention SUV and truck shoppers. October is the month to save big with financing as low as 0% for up to 72 months. That's 0% for up to 72 months on select Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, and Ram trucks. TurnersvilleJeep.com has over 450 vehicles available for immediate delivery, plus a huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles that come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. TurnersvilleJeep.com. 0% for 72 months financing equals $13.89 per thousand financed, with approved credit on select models. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently had a permanent tooth put in, and you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high, it's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
My next guest, Neil Young.
Neil Young?
Neil Young. Well, I don't know if this Neil Young can sing, but he does have a heart of gold.
I feel like he has to, right? Oh, that was quite, I like it. I like what you did there.
Thank you for the...
Can he sing? Is the first question you got to ask him.
Can he sing? He can teach. He is the Republican candidate for Pennsylvania District 6 and a dedicated and one of the favorite public school teachers there for 22 years. Neil Young for Congress. Welcome back to the Dawn Show. Hey, you. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Dawn. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I love the Heart of Gold. I love that Heart of Gold reference. That's awesome.
Can you sing, Neil?
It could jeopardize my campaign. So maybe at the victory party, you'll hear me sing. Oh man, take a look at my life or something.
I love it.
Before you go, I just got to ask: is there any connection to the artist? Were you named after him? Is there anything there?
So oddly enough, my father and mother are also great, wonderful people, old leftover hippies, and so you would think I was named after him because my dad's a big fan, but I'm actually a junior. He was, I'm Neil Young Jr. My dad was Neil Young, so anytime I complain about getting grief or anything, my dad goes, Neil, I grew up in the 70s. What do you think it was like for me? So,
I love it.
It's a great play from the dad.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been on before. I know I'm still lobbying. I told when we were backstage actually with Don Jr., with Donald Trump Jr., and we were waiting to go on, and I was telling everybody all about you, including Don Jr. And I said, but Dom Giordano, is a one-time educator. Neil Young wants to drive his bus down here, so we still got to set that up with a bus, right? You got an actual Neil Young bus.
Absolutely, we'll do that. And listen, there's a lot of important people in this whole process. I know that, but we got a Neil Young bus because what a wonderful way to promote a teacher running to try to improve our public school system. Then have somebody allow us to use a bus. My wife is actually an art teacher. My sister's an artist, and they took a handful of people, and we've got the greatest campaign advertising moving billboard that's rolling around Chester County every single day. And we added a Blues Brothers style loudspeaker to the PA system to the outside. So we've got this loop in like English and Spanish that's like, I don't know if it's convincing people to find out more about us or just brainwashing them into maybe, going and voting. But it is, I will tell you this, it's effective. And if you got a chance to listen to some of the voicemails we get, they are wonderful. We love it. Everything from there to, I'm trying to work. Can you please turn your PA system down in Westchester or something like that?
What it reminds me of is the Back to the Future scene where the mayor has the car with the speakers on top driving around the small town. Go vote for me.
I'm telling you, it was inspired by that Blues Brothers scene where they hook it to the top of the police car and they just ride around talking about their gig. Like that. That's what it was all about. Hey, when you're fighting an uphill I'm fighting an uphill campaign. You gotta cut through the noise. Oftentimes people may not want to talk about the politics of it. You've just got to help people know that there are options and alternatives out there that exist, and that's what I want them to know.
Yeah, because you're running against. Your opponent is Chrissy Houlihan, so you're running against an incumbent, and you are somebody, Neil Young, who you've talked about your support of protecting our girls with Title IX. And so how do you differ, let's just say, with regard to Title IX issues with your opponent?
Great question. And we're night and day. The challenge is that sometimes, the difference between what they say and what they do and how they vote is hugely problematic. That's all I think the American people want. Just stand on what you believe. Let's put all ideas out there and allow for the best ones to move forward. And so the problem is this either gets buried or she won't talk about it. But it's imperative that we protect our girls in sports and in our classrooms. We spent 50 years doing this. And so I would, she voted against codifying, Roe v. Wade as meaning biological sex at birth. And so here's somebody who not only will she not protect our girls on the soccer field, but she also wants to require them to serve on the battlefield, right? So she's multiple times introduced the requirement for our young girls to register for selective services in the name of equity or whatever the push is. But like, I've got an 11-year-old daughter, and you're more interested in making sure that she serves in case there's a draft than you are about making sure that she doesn't have to step on the basketball court against a biological male. That's, to me, not only is I disagree with it, but more importantly than that, I believe the people that I'm seeking to represent, I believe they're with me on this, and they disagree, because most reasonable people would agree on that stance.
And for you, you talked, the times that we've talked, Neil, at some Trump Force 47, gatherings that I've attended and you've attended. You talked to me about the importance of having an educator like yourself, 22 years as a school teacher, to be a member of Congress, because you offer a unique perspective. Obviously, you are pro-educator. You've done it for, like you've said, you're from a family of educators, you yourself. But why do you think that's a selling point?
Well, I think whenever we're looking to solve problems, first we have to identify the problem. And I think everybody has a clear understanding that we've never spent more on our public education system. I think, in Chester County, we're nearing $24,000 per year per pupil. So we've never spent more, and we've never gotten less. Nearly all of the schools are regressing, not only as it relates to their past performance, but also to their performance around the world. And so that's the problem. The problem is our system of education is failing. And that doesn't bring me any joy at all to say. I mean, I've spent 22 years in the classroom doing it. I've been part of education initiatives around the world. I was in Afghanistan in 2007 when 500,000 girls flooded back into the school system that unfortunately, didn't exist. And so I played a very small role in that. I've given my life to believing that education is the great equalizer and brings about that opportunity and pursuit of happiness that our founders were always seeking for us. So the question is, how do we get to the place of, fixing it? Well, without a doubt, we can't have people who have never been, or in this, case, been in the classroom for 9 months. We have to have people who are at the table who really understand what's going on and are not, bought, paid for, whatever you want to say, are not beholden to special interests that are keeping our kids from getting meaningful, quality, specialized education. And so you can't solve the problem without the teachers who have been in the trenches and who know what's really going on. The low standards, the push for equity to replace excellence. Because I believe firmly that if our schools pursue anything besides excellence, we are doing a disservice to our kids and doing a disservice to our future generations. Because if we pursue excellence, then equity will follow, because it doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are. All humans are inclined to pursue excellence. And that's what I want to see. I mean, I want to see all these other problems solved. She's voted against, securing our border. She's voted against, American energy. She's voted to restrict American energy. My goodness, she co-sponsored a bill to end qualified immunity for police officers. So people want safe communities. People want safe borders. People want to reduce inflation. People don't want to spend all their money on gas and groceries. And the problem is that that's exactly who she represents, and we need different answers to that, because even if we solve all those things, which would be great, if we elect Donald Trump, if we gain majorities in the Senate and House, but if we pass it on to the next generation, who I'm telling you, the truth is not only are standards low, but they're being taught to hate their country. So they're being taught that that we live on stolen land. They're being taught that capitalism exploits workers. They're being, taught that we're systemically racist. All they're doing is dividing our young people. And so if we solve all the rest of the problems and then turn it over to this generation, we will have fought in vain.
Yeah, it's so true. And, I will say, as far as your opponent, Chrissy Houlihan, she's obviously a Pennsylvania Democrat, one of 13 lawmakers on that so-called bipartisan task force investigating the July 13th assassination attempt on former President Trump. And she even acknowledged, these enormous gaps in communication and all of that. When you look at the job she's done, whether it's on this bipartisan task force her work as far as talking about Title IX, border security, all of that. Where do you see yourself fitting in a very different manner as far as your philosophy versus hers?
That's a great question. Yesterday, I was actually at a chamber event in Southern Chester County, and most of the candidates running, there were present, and I had an opportunity to hear, she was there and she spoke, and I think one of the, I'm sure she has a busy schedule, but the truth is, she spoke, and then she kind of left before she was able to answer some questions. But one of the questions that was asked was about this idea of bipartisanship. Should we, they often use this word, and I questioned the idea. Of course you want to be bipartisan, because that's what oftentimes, brings about, to some degree, resolution. But if what we're talking about when we talk about bipartisanship is that the left and the right come together to make an agreement, and out of that agreement comes some 1,000-page bill that people have, that lawmakers have a weekend to read and then vote on, well, I question whether or not that's serving the American people, or is that serving the best interests of those, of our elected leaders? Because if you pass a 1,000-page bill and everybody in that, everybody who's, in Congress gets a little something out of it that they can go home and, and take to their constituents, we never ask the question, but who's working for us? And so where I'm different is that bipartisanship is important, but you have to have somebody in there that you trust, number one, knows you, and number two, has the character to say there is a line. I mean, I will not cross a line of betraying my values and beliefs for the sake of bipartisanship. Sometimes it's more important to stand up and say, I will not go along with what is being proposed in this piece of legislation, and be the fly in the ointment if you have to, but stand on the values and the morals and the principles that got you elected there in the first place.
Neil, you and I talked about this, and at the time, the first time I met you, I said, well, are you almost tenured? As you've been a public school social studies teacher, you have a wife, you have a whole bunch of kids, you're a dad, you know what I mean? And so with this, so let's say you go to Congress, do you lose some tenure or something with being a teacher?
There's a lot of questions. I guess those will be for after the election questions. You try to put everything in place. To ensure, and that's a conversation I'll have with my school district. But it's also a risk I'm willing to take. Yes, I'm tenured. I've been there 22 years. I've served satisfactorily and in a distinguished manner for that long. But I can't and I guess theoretically I could have spent the last 8 years of my career held on, got my pension and moved on. But I couldn't live with myself to do that. With that. So I've got 2 boys in college. I've got 2 kids in private school. I'm just like everybody else. I've got expenses. I'm looking at my, I'm going sometimes to Aldi's and sometimes to Walmart. Well, my wife helps out with that as well.
We all love Aldi.
Online grocery. You know what's great? You know what's incredible? My wife texted me the other day. She's like, can you pick a grocery run up at Walmart, and you go into those like lines. And
yes.
It was awesome pulling up in the bus at Walmart with, and I'm like,
wait a minute.
Can you put those in the back?
Wait a minute. So Neil Young, you pull up to the Walmart and you got the huge bus with the Neil Young on the side, right? And the loudspeakers. Yes. And then she's like, hey, honey, can you pick up some, whatever, milk and bananas, whatever?
You believe in progress. Re-elect Mayor Red Thomas. Progress is his middle name.
Yes.
So now you go in. Yes. What's the reaction?
Well, first off, all I could think about was back when Clinton called those people bastards of deplorables. And I'm thinking, man, if you think they're deplorable people, you're creating a whole lot more of them, because this is where people are shopping these days. Yeah. We're trying to find the best deals. But I didn't go in because, you do curbside pickup. And so I just pulled the bus up into a parking spot, and then I had to, put it in my phone, what the number was. And then some guy comes out and hands me through the window. It was only, two little bags. He hands me through that little bus window.
Red Thomas. Progress is his middle name.
Well, Neil Young.
I did.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I'm used to the looks at this point. But that's okay.
No, you're so much fun, and we can throw anything at you, and you're just a great sport as well. I hope you come back, and we do it. We do it in person. We get you to bring the bus here, and go on the Dom show, because I promise that. Two educators just talking about fixing, really fixing our schools. There are so many issues that we've talked about in the past. What's that?
I said that'd be a great connect to educators. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So maybe you can hop on. Well, you can hop on, and we'll broadcast from the bus.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh!
Just roll around, right? Like there's some seating in the back. I got a couch and some chairs in the back.
Oh wow!
Of the bus. We'll just do it right there. We'll set it up. I don't know. There's probably logistics that have to be dealt with that, but that would be a blast.
Well, I'm thinking about. If Greg's listening, we have the capability to tether it through, satellites or cell connections, and I don't know. It sounds like something we couldn't get going.
That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Get Greg Stocker on that, please.
On the road again. Neil Young, thank you so much. You're the best, and we'll continue the conversation, and we'll all get on board the bus. Thank you, Neil.
I appreciate it, Dawn. You're the best. Thank you very much. See ya.
And Neil, you can check out, he has a website, neilyoung24.com, so you can learn more about him. And when you look at the picture, he's very youthful. His last name's Young. But when you first meet him, you're like, how does this guy have a wife and 4 kids, and he's been a teacher for 22? Because he looks, like he's young. He looks like he's like 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Quite the opposite of how Neil Young, the singer, looks.
It's a sin. So your thoughts, 855-839-1210. We got to button up some, we got to give you some updates on some breaking news. We've got some Trump news. We'll be right back.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt. If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Gather your family and friends for the Buddy Walk and Family Fun Day on Sunday, October 20th at Lincoln Financial Field. Let's celebrate individuals with Down syndrome and have a fun morning. Proceeds benefit CHOP's Trisomy 21 program and the National Down Syndrome Society. Learn more at buddywalk.chop.edu.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey girl, it's your new night guy, Jimmy Fallon in the house from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and free on the Odyssey app.
So just following up for you, as I always do, North Penn School District, there was an action meeting, about an hour taking testimony, and obviously grappling with the Title IX rules, the new rules that President Joe Biden via executive order signed into action, and parents on both sides, it looks like, testifying, talking about Title IX, but also talking about inclusion and how people, can they go in a bathroom that they identify with or that's aligns with how their birth gender, if you will. So I know Dan had grabbed a little bit of that testimony that happened last night as people had, timed testimony that they could give on both sides of the issue.
Sorry about that, Dawn. I am pulling
That's
it
okay.
right now, and I missed my spot there. Here you go.
Hi, Victoria Cerveny, Lansdale. I'm a mom to students from Knapp and Penndale and the high school, and I visited the forum here 1 month ago in support of the inclusion of gender and gender identity in the North Penn discrimination policy. Because, as a mom of a transgender student, I think it's important to hold students and staff accountable to the ideals of equity and diversity. Unfortunately, just in the last week, my child was harassed due to gender by a North Penn employee at the school. This individual said gross and derogatory things to my child. They wrongly accused them of inappropriate behavior just because of the way that they looked. This should never happen to anyone, especially not someone who's supposed to be a trusted adult in our schools. This had a very bad impact on my child's mental health.
So first, I'm so sorry to hear that happened. I don't know how her child looked, so I have no idea what's going on there. But these are some of the issues, that parents deal with. Their child comes home, says, and it sounds like good communication. Whatever went on there, whatever the final judgment is, as a mom, I'm going to stand up for my kid. And so, you have the biggest takeaway about these school districts, North Penn included. These are parents who are passionate about their children, their children's education. A lot of these parents moved to this area because of the school district, because it's highly rated. So they found the school district first, and then they chose a house in that perimeter. That's what's going on here. I know so many parents in this particular school district who have said, please protect the girls. There were many testifying, talking about safety and thinking about, is my child safe? Is my daughter safe? Is she going to have to change in front of a boy because of this policy signed into law by Joe Biden? Others that we've heard from that have said, not for nothing, but when you look at the per student cost, what is it really from the federal government? Do we say, and this was Riley Gaines, what she said, and I think it was eye-opening. She said, Riley Gaines' advice, she said, call their bluff. Say, no, we're going to vote that we're not going to have biological boys dressing in the same locker room as a girl, so we're going to call your bluff. No, if you want to deny us the federal dollars, then you go for it. You do that. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to do it. They don't want the battle. And this is in the courts as we move through. So a very passionate but polite, from what I see, and I've gone through, is about an hour-long meeting. Just wanted to bring you the latest. These things go late into the night, too. Thing didn't start till like 7:30, 7:45. On a school night. And you've been up.
Thursday night football, a great game last night.
I know.
A horrible game.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I just want to give you that little taste of, the follow-up. Caring, loving parents on all different sides, and some of them just advocating for their kid, not even necessarily one policy or the other. And so that's important to respect them for their opinions, but I sure hope that they do the right thing, because this policy, at the end of the day, has a huge impact on girls' sports and just girls and women in general, right, as far as your future goes. We got to get to Dom Giordano, but I wanted to give you that North Penn update from North Penn School District. I hope you have a blessed Friday. Go Eagles! I think we're going to win Sunday. Dom Giordano in the house. Hey, Dom.
Hey, thanks, Dawn. Stuff that's just breaking. Henry's cutting it up. It was a Bob Casey ad in which he says he differs with Biden on fracking. And then that's one thing, but he jumps to say he agrees with Trump on trade. McCormick people all over it, nationally people all over it. It's a warning sign for Harris here in Pennsylvania. And a national survey that asked men, because manhood is on the line apparently in this election, questions like, is it fine for men under 30 to care about fashion? I say yes, but I'll give you what they say about it.
Dom Giordano, our resident fashionista, will weigh in. Dom Giordano Show is right now.